Yeah, in the station there, under the driveway or something.
She got laying in the bushes in the ghillie suit.
But we both kind of noticed it. We kind of walked away. Then she goes to the trash can, move a few branches here and there. Like,
Because they certainly will come to see you.
yeah.
Everybody down with you.
Talking about.
Oh, yeah, because I saw her out there. There's a lot of dirt, you know, elevation there.
They've given us 2 minutes.
All right, Wendy, this is a test. Let me know if you can hear me.
That's awesome.
I couldn't see that.
Okay,
Well,
good.
last night, I think I'm gonna sit right over here.
So Doug called in.
Right.
There's a lot less people here than there was. Well, I thought just I
You won't bother me at 7 o'clock.
That stuff can't hurt you.
And he texted me at 5:45 this morning.
Reverend Crawford, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, good.
Got a lot of people concerned though, I was working on polls, and they come in, they are concerned about the lines.
Yeah, I keep posting stuff.
So you need to stay in for the drawing. I don't know.
Are we drawing for something good?
We're talking senior center.
The senior center
I
does.
forgot I didn't get the,
For residents and
I'm gonna mute you right
I
now.
know this is.
Okay.
You got about 40
They brought
seconds.
it up last week.
I just muted
The
from
waste. Well, it doesn't matter, I'm not missing it. You know what I mean? In case.
I mean, I can.
Something worthless.
That much money.
So $10 a month for senior center.
But
They're gonna be charging people to use that pickleball?
I'll talk to you.
Shut up.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call this workshop into order. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Alley is out, that Councilman Stoffer is called in, and Councilman Rominger, Schatzel, and Tolbert are here. Mr. City Manager, you are up.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, council. So here we are on budget workshop 2 of 3. Tonight we're going to talk about the CRA, the surtax, and the Community Development Department special revenue funds. As I explained earlier on Tuesday, we have 3 different types of money that we utilize here in the city of Niceville. Tonight we're talking about our special revenue funds. Again, these are restricted monies that can only be used for statutory purposes. And again, we're talking about CRA, surtax funds, and the Community Development Department. I'm going to start with the CRA. And just for the benefit of those in the audience, the Florida Community Redevelopment Agency is a special district created by a city or county to revitalize blighted or undeveloped areas and address local economic and infrastructure challenges. It's governed by Florida law and has a primary purpose to encourage public and private investment in designated community redevelopment areas to improve property values, create jobs, and enhance community quality of life. A CRA has a number of goals. Number 1 is to revitalize older downtown or other areas around town, declining neighborhoods and areas within blighted conditions, such as substandard structures, inadequate infrastructure, insufficient roadways, or housing shortages. And that's the second goal is to stimulate economic growth by attracting developers, businesses, and investors to underutilized or deteriorating areas. And then third, to improve public facilities and infrastructure, such as streetscapes, sidewalks, parks, and utilities. One of the things we're going to talk about, CRAs under Florida law also allow for grants and low-interest loans for facade improvements, historical preservation, landscaping, and structural upgrades for businesses. So in short, the Florida CRA's purpose is to systematically invest in and transform struggling communities by combining local leadership, targeted funding, and incentives to create sustainable, livable, and economic vibrant neighborhoods. Council, I am proposing in the CRA fund this year, our revenues are projected to be $2,093,979. Expenditures are the same. The graph on the left, you can see where the funding is coming from. More than 50% of it is actual new CRA tax revenue. Then we have the TDD grant from the county for our dock and pier, the remaining balance of that. And then the rest is about $258,000 worth of reserves. We have more than enough reserves to cover that expense, but it's also it's to do the expenditures on the right. The bulk of that, as you can see, is to complete the dock and pier, but also the engineering and permitting for the phase 2 of the landing project. That's what that $500,000 is. I didn't put the numbers on there, but the operating expenses are $213,295. And then there's $50,000 in there for a proposed economic development opportunity. All of those numbers are in the books that we provided to you. The $50,000 is a new program that we are recommending that we start for local businesses that are within the CRA district for enhancements to their businesses. So think landscaping, sign improvements, storefront enhancements, facade improvements, things of that nature to enhance the visual appeal and aesthetics of their businesses. This would be a 50-50 grant, so they would go out and invest the money and bring us the receipts, and then we'd reimburse them 50%. That's the proposal. Did I get that right? Okay. All right. So we have one CRA district here in Niceville, but there was a CRA district and then it expanded. The map that I showed you shows you the entire CRA district. The piece that goes around kind of parallels John Sims Boulevard from Valpy all the way to the east was the first part, CRA 1. And then the portion of the map that in the upper northwest corner and the lower southeast corner was the CRA 2. CRA 1, or maybe I got that backwards, 2013 and 2019 were the tax base years. And you can see from this chart how the property, the assessed values within those CRA districts have increased over the years. Now, I do want to emphasize for those that are attending with us or watching online that CRA districts, this is not an extra tax or an additional property tax. What a CRA district does is a tax increment financing, and so the base assessed value was established in 2013 and 2019. And so the taxes from that there forward, the increased values, the taxes derived from the increased values go into the CRA trust fund that we use for economic development, blight, and things of that nature. So it is not a new tax. If the CRA district did not exist, those taxes would go into the general fund. And so it's not an additional tax, it's just a tax. All right, before I move on to the surtax, Council, do you have any questions about the proposed CRA budget? Mayor? Mayor? Oh.
Yeah, I have a question concerning the map that you tried to verbally describe on the,
Yes, sir.
on the phase 1, phase 2. Would you, it looks like Hawks Landing, if I have this development subdivision correct, they're not included in this. Is there any reason why not?
It's Hawks Landing?
It's in the city, it's not a CRA.
Yeah.
He said it's in the city, but it's not in the CRA.
Right.
It's not a blighted area.
It's not a blighted area.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hawks Landing is a
I do have a question.
Hold your, well, you can wait
Hold
your
on, Councilman Stauffer.
Go ahead, Mr. Tolbert.
Okay, so as we look at your funding increment, understand those monies would normally be coming, that incremental increase would normally be coming to the general fund.
Yes, sir, correct.
How did those perform? How did that increment perform in gain of value percentage-wise versus the rest of the city? You know, you're showing, there's a good divider there, but I mean, I'm assuming that there's a X percentage of increase. Is it coincidental with the city? Can we tie it to anything we've done? Is what I'm really asking. Can we tie any of those increases to anything we've done?
Sir, I wouldn't think so because we haven't done anything in the CRA.
You have.
The only thing that we've done in the CRA in the last decade is the pier that's going in right now.
Okay, so since 2013, you've spent no other money in the CRA.
Small amounts of money here and there have been used for,
We purchased the building.
purchasing property, doing environmental studies and engineering and things of that nature. But I can't honestly answer that question off the top of my head. I could certainly look it up and get back to you on that one.
When we go back to the purpose, so you read us the definition out of the Florida statute, and the purpose was obviously to increase the values of things, and so we're 10 years in and we haven't increased the value. So the question is, are we spending our money wisely in these CRAs? Are they increasing the value?
Well, again, so I can run the numbers for you and get back to you on that question. But again, prior to my assuming this position, the CRA didn't do anything other than buy properties and do some engineering. There wasn't a whole lot of activity.
Let me take a stab at this. So, first of all, as you mentioned, there's a trust fund. Every year, once the baseline was established, that the property values increased above that baseline, that money went into that trust fund. It would go to the county feed it back to us, go in the trust fund. We have started off very small. We had to, in our CA, we had to develop a plan on how we were going to spend that money. We have that plan, and Chris can show it to you. And as we get to the points where we can actually execute part of the plan with the amount of money that we have, then we do so.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand that because back on the, whatever date, in 16th of June, I actually took time out of my schedule to go to Panama City and take a course on CRAs. Spent the day over there to try to get smarter about CRAs and what we're doing about them, which I would encourage all of you to do. Because, you know, there's some fundamental questions you ask. Is it legal? Is it in the plan?
Right.
So that brings me to my next point. Is $42,000 worth of spending for matching funds in our plan?
42,000.
I think that's the number I saw in my budget book. Economic development.
Yes, sir.
So that is that in our plan?
Economic development is in our plan, and if it is not, it will be, the plan that you will be approving in the months ahead definitely has it in the plan.
Okay.
And so this $50,000 that I'm proposing we put aside for economic development, that program, we have to develop the program and get it approved by the council. And so that would follow the council's approval of the CRA, the new CRA plan.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the fundamental questions. Is it in the plan and in the budget to be able to execute on that? So it will be in the plan for economic development with criteria established of how they're selected.
Yes, sir. There's going to be an entire program developed that the CRA commissioners and the city council will approve.
And we will approve who gets the money.
Well, if that is your desire, for sure.
Preclude the impression that it's those that you know get the money.
For sure. Well, and listen, and if that's the council's desire or the CRA commissioner's desire is we accept applications and we bring them before you with a recommendation, we will absolutely do that.
Yeah, and I would say through the planning commission, we have a great place to start with that, to make sure that they meet what planning commission requires.
Right. And again, sir, this type of program currently does not exist in Niceville, and so Chris is going to develop it for us, and we will present it to you for full approval, both of the plan and if warranted, any projects.
Perfect. Thanks.
Now, Mr. Stopper, you had a question?
I do, and I think it's sort of like the question had before. You're saying $2 million did not go in the general fund because it went into the CRA, is that correct?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying at all. And I know you can't see the slide,
Okay.
but the city increment that we are projected to receive in fiscal year 27 is approximately $616,600.
Right, so why is it better? I know blighted areas and I know the increase and all of that, but I'm wondering, why does the CRA, why is that better than having unrestricted funds to utilize in this way? What benefit that I'm not really understanding that the CRA gives us?
Sir, I'm going to give you 499,200 reasons why it's a better idea. Because the property tax increment that would have gone to the county comes to us.
Okay.
So we're getting an extra $500,000 in the CRA fund that we would not have otherwise received.
That makes all the sense in the world. I got no further questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question for him? All right, continue on.
I was gonna
Mr.
ask you a quick question
Sir.
regarding the $50,000. Has that been a program that's worked in other areas? Where you modeled that from, Chris?
Yes, sir.
How successful have those programs been?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I implemented these programs over a decade ago, and we, different measures of success with it, but we administered out grants. Some were capped at $10,000, some we had no caps on, so we were administering, they're all matching grants, but up to $50,000 or more per grant request and approval. But we administered out over $1 million in grants over the course of several years for all sorts of facade projects, streetscape, landscape beautification projects. Certainly aided in beautification and appearance, throughout our CRA. The challenge on them was always trying to tie it back to, property tax or property value increase and things like that. But, we certainly, beautify a lot of properties.
Thank you.
Follow-up question on that.
Chris, one more question.
Is the plan you have in mind, is it limited to businesses? Or is it open to, because a lot of CRAs are in business districts.
Correct.
So, but we have a huge swath of residential area built into this. So is the plan the city envisions, and you're developing this plan, so what's on your mind?
I mean, honestly, we could go either way. My initial envisioning was more of a business just because that's what I previously had actually utilized. However, I will say the CRA I dealt with previously was primarily a commercial type CRA. I did develop a residential kind of paint up property improvement grant years ago. It just didn't go anywhere. We decided not to go that route. So I had drafted that and never used it. Everything we always used was for commercial properties, but it's absolutely flexible as far as how that match works, what caps are, what eligible expenses are, how the review oversight process works. Yeah, it's completely up for our discussion and discretion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Mr. Deitch, you're back up.
So, Council, before we move on to the surtax fund, the other thing I would offer for your consideration is again, this program is still being developed. So there's a lot of work yet to do. But what I would offer to you is that headhunter companies that work for retailers and other businesses come through Niceville all the time, and we don't know it. And every single one of them has a different algorithm about how they evaluate whether or not they recommend a business come to Niceville or not. One of the pieces of that algorithm is the aesthetics of Niceville. And so the more appealing, visually appealing it is, the more attractive it would be for a business to come. So I just offer that for your consideration. All right.
Let me just reemphasize one additional thing to the rest of the council, and that is, as Mr. Tolbert indicated, and as Chris Frasetti also mentioned, in the CRA we have to have a plan, and anything that we do must be in that plan. It cannot be an after-the-fact thing. So that's why we look closely to the city manager and to Chris to make sure that whatever we're attempting to do is in the plan.
Sorry, one last follow-up.
Yes, please.
It's my quick notes. A portion of Chris's salary is in this one. Is he the CRA director or are you the CRA director?
I'm the director, he's the manager, and so however it's labeled, I derive no money out of the CRA.
But you do. You do according to the second line on this one.
It's Chris, sir.
Okay, so he's
He's the only one drawing any salary.
Right now it's under the director.
Okay, then he's the director.
The director. Okay, that I was just trying to clarify.
I derive not one penny from the CRA, it's his part of his salary, because he's doing all the work.
Because we're getting to this later, where the rest of his salary comes from in
Correct.
a different bucket, so I want to make sure
Correct.
I know who we're talking about.
It's all him.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Good?
Yep.
All right. Moving on to surtax. So as everybody knows, the surtax is an additional sales tax that is imposed at the county level. In the state of Florida, municipalities may not impose a sales tax. And so back in 2018, it went to referendum, and the voters of Okaloosa County approved a half-cent sales tax to deal with the rapid growth of the county, the aging infrastructure like roads and stormwater, and the demand for public safety needs that was throughout the county. The current surtax is set to expire in 2029, but it will be on the ballot in November, and hopefully it will pass again because it has been an absolute game changer for Niceville as well as Okaloosa County.
Did you want to explain why it's on the ballot early?
I hadn't planned to, but I can.
Yeah.
So, Council, it's on the ballot. It's going to be on the ballot in November because by state law, it fails. You have to wait 2 years before you can take another run at it. And so, if it were to fail in 26, the intent is, I think, to run it to try again in 28 before it expires in 29. So, what has the surtax done here in Niceville over the last few years? Well, it's done a number of things. Over the last several years, Niceville's received anywhere between $1.9 and $2 million annually from the surtax. Now, I would tell you that 35 to 50% of that surtax revenue comes from tourists, not from residents. And with that extra revenue, we've used that extra revenue for a number of things that we would not have been able to do otherwise. Again, 8 police cars. I got 1 fire truck on there, but we just bought 3 more. And so with the surtax, we bought 8 police vehicles, 4 fire trucks. We've enhanced and improved 4.6 miles of roads and sidewalks, walking trails, and a mile and a half of new or improved sidewalks around the city of Niceville. Because of this money, I'm going back to the 4.6 miles of roads. We are currently in the 80th percentile we have better roads than 80% of every municipality in Florida. Oh, in the country. Okay. Because the council, years ago had made they intentionally devoted this money to roads and sidewalks and trails, and so that's why we have some of the best roads in the country. We could not have done any of this that's listed on the slide without the surtax. It absolutely would have been impossible. So what are we going to do next year? So we're projecting about $2 million worth of revenue this year, and then you can see how it's kind of broken out between infrastructure, operations, buildings, and equipment. And then zoom in a little bit closer here. I want to go through these kind of line by line. For the police department, there are 3 police vehicles in the budget, in the surtax budget for next fiscal year. 5 bulletproof vests. The police officers currently don't have the proper bulletproof vests, or they're expired. I didn't realize the plates expired, but they expired. A number of them have expired plates. And then continued improvements to the facility itself. I don't know if you remember what it looked like 3 years ago, but I encourage you to go over and look at it now. It's a completely different building. And they just finished up, or Philip's finishing up the training room upstairs. It looks absolutely phenomenal. So that's where the proposed surtax expenditures at the police department are going. Over at the fire department, We put a little bit of money in there to do some maintenance on the boat, to reroute the boat, 2 command vehicles, and then 3 air conditioning units. Now, I will tell you, council, those 3 air conditioning units are just in case. There is no plan to replace the ones they got unless they go out. But that money is sitting there in the event that they do. Moving down to the infrastructure, the Turkey Creek bathrooms, this is to, as you recall, what was it, who helped us fix up that bathroom? What club was it? Rotary? Rotary. So the Rotary, you know, as you recall, a couple months ago came in and remodeled the inside of the bathrooms down on Turkey Creek South. This money for the Turkey Creek bathrooms is to re-roof it, put in metal railings like there is on the handicap accessible route, a ramp up into Turkey Creek, and then to replace the doors that are being weathered because they're outside and they get wet and things of that nature. The Old Town Landing seawall, you may have it in your budget. It says Lions Park Dock and Pier. We took that out because the dock and pier down at Lions Park, it'll last another year, but it will be likely be in the budget next year. In its place, we've replaced it with the Old Town Landing seawall. The contractor that is building the dock and pier down at the landing during construction noted that the seawall was failing and needed to be replaced in order to secure the park down there. Rocky Bayou sidewalk, we get a lot of complaints. There's an old asphalt sidewalk on the south side of the Rocky Bayou Drive that's in really, really bad shape, and we've had a couple of people fall, but we get complaints about it and have for a couple of years now. So the proposal there is to rip that asphalt trail out and put in a concrete sidewalk because there's a lot of trees on that side of the road relatively close to the path. The concrete sidewalk will help alleviate that problem. There's a couple of things within the recreation department, structural improvements to the children's park. 2 things there. Number 1, the buildings that are on the north side of the children's park, right closest to the community center, have 2 problems. They've got extensive water damage because the water from the community center pours off the roof of the community center onto the children's park facilities, the buildings right there. So that's caused 2 problems. Number 1 is water damage, and number 2 is termite damage. And so we need to get that fixed in order to maintain the structural integrity of those buildings. Moving on down, the 3 light poles for the sports complex, or the softball complex up the hill here. We have the poles already. Jim Bowman's intent is to remove 5 of the poles and replace them with 3. Again, we have the 3, but we just need to pay for the labor to install them. The shade canopies up at the softball complex as well. Those are to put shade canopies over the existing bleachers. We're going to do that in-house as well. The multi-use trail, again, this is in conjunction with the county. You know, the county's putting in that multi-use trail down College and Forest. And there's already an existing multi-use trail on Rocky Bayou Drive. It starts at the roundabout there by Publix, and it goes down Crossings Boulevard and ends out there just a little bit past Walmart. But there's a missing segment right there from the intersection of Forest and Rocky Bayou Drive all the way over to that roundabout by Publix. And so I am proposing a $450,000 project to close that gap so that we have one big multi-use loop around a good segment of Niceville. Now, if you will turn your attention to that Okaloosa County project list, you will note that that project is also on the county's project list. And so I went over to the BCC meeting on Tuesday, and I've been in discussions with the county's public works director about this list for more than a month now. The county and I are very, very excited to collaborate on it. Not only this project, but any number of projects that are on this list that are in Niceville. I think there's 6 projects there. And so I spoke at the BCC meeting. The county's excited about collaborating with us. And so what the public works director and I just kind of tentatively discussed was, much like we did with the Val P sidewalk, one of us would engineer it, one of us would build it. And so neither of us are paying this full bill. So if we can pull that off, I don't anticipate that $450,000 will be anywhere close to $450,000. But it will be a collaborative endeavor with the county. And then finally, fortification at the wells, we put in $250,000 there. And here's why I did this, council. we've been getting a lot of emails from the state and the federal government recently about cyber attacks on water systems. And so while our NICE bill has an extremely robust network security apparatus protecting our SCADA systems, what we don't have is guarded wellheads. A couple of, 5 or 6 of our wellheads, they have a pole barn over them, if you will, and that's it. And so anybody could walk right up to that wellhead and damage the wellhead or contaminate it or whatever else, right? And so my proposal is that we put our wellheads in concrete buildings with a steel door and a security camera, and then a fence around it to protect those wellheads. Because if we don't have clean, safe drinking water, then really nothing else matters. And so we like I said, the security of our SCADA systems is strong. We're gonna take actions in the next month or two to bury our SCADA system even further behind our security systems. But again, they are currently, the wellheads themselves are currently exposed. And so my proposal is $250,000. This probably won't do it all. We're gonna do all the work in-house. And we're gonna get as many of our wellheads taken care of this year as possible, and we might have to come back at this again next year if we can't get them all done. Moving on to parks, again, there's $135,000 there for the next phase of the sports complex. Again, as I've mentioned to you before, the next phase, the company tells me is going to take 6 to 7 months to work through, and then you as a council, we're going to have to work through it after that, or during the process as well. And so I don't know how much further we will get in that project next year beyond the engineering and concepts and things of that nature. Moving on down, there's a mower that the rec department needs, and then 2 AC units for Jonathan and his team. Unlike the fire department, those 2 air conditioning units are going to be replaced because they got a problem down there at the yard. And then finally, down in the IT department, there's some software, $472,000 of software. That is all law enforcement and fire department software. The biggest piece is the Axon contract for $276,000. That's the body cams and the cameras they have in the cars. Axon is one of only 2 or 3 companies in the country that do what, the body cam stuff. They are the biggest, the largest, and so they're the biggest dog on the block, and they charge a lot. But those cameras for our police officers are invaluable. So that's what 58.4% of that $472,000 is one contract with Axon. The last piece there you see is the fire suppression system. That's in the IT department. Again, I mentioned this before. Our entire server room has a water-based fire suppression system, and so we're gonna fix that, assuming the council approves this candidate list for the surtax. Council, with that, that's all I have for you on the surtax, pending your questions.
All right, council, any questions you want to ask? All right.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Tolbert.
Okay. This is kind of about, you have gone through, and as I look at the budget, I appreciate the slides, but as I look at the budget provided, there are very specific funding lines for different things. How strict are we on sticking to funding lines? For example, there is a funding line for sports complex, $1 million under our current budget, and a spending of $38.5. Okay, so obviously something else got charged to that funding line. How do we know? Otherwise, there's money left, right? There's no money left. There's no money left. I got that. So.
No, sir. If I may, please don't misinterpret the $1 million. What that line says is the council approved me and my team to spend up to $1 million on this project. There's not there's not a pot of money actually sitting there. What that is it's $1 million authorization and not a penny more. Of the appropriation that the council approved, we spent $38,000 and change of it.
Right, and we authorized $1 million for the sports complex.
Correct.
Okay?
but I didn't need to spend $1 million.
Right, and so you didn't spend it, but it went somewhere else.
No, no, sir, it's
No.
still sitting in the surtax, kitty.
So it will roll in,
It rolls.
and it will.
If there's any, again, I would ask that you don't get wrapped around the axle about the $1 million figure. If there is excess surtax money that actually came into the piggy bank that does not get spent in fiscal year 26, it rolls forward into 27, either into the reserves or it's still sitting there if there's any left. But again, please don't misunderstand. There's not $1 million there. It's $1 million approved appropriation.
All your projected year ends end in zero, right? According to the way, just because all of them do show up as zero at the end of the fiscal year, right? So I'm looking at your projected year end column.
Oh. Sir, I don't know why that column is in code. We don't use it.
You asked about it last year and it appeared again this year, so I was surprised to see it, honestly.
Well, and it's built into the system. There's nothing I can do about that column. I don't know if it's in the new system or not, but that projected year end has never been used by the city of Niceville ever.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No.
Are there any other questions?
But you've told me, I'm sorry, I'm not done. You've told me at other times that part of that $1 million was used to not transfer as much money into the general fund, correct?
The millage rate increase prevented us from having to transfer as much into the general fund as the council had approved last year.
Right. So the question is, we are taking surtax money that was told to be surtax expenditures and decided not to spend them in surtax, but spent them in general fund.
No, sir. No, sir. Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
So where did the money come from that closed the gap then? It didn't come out of surtax.
The millage rate increase last year. When the council increased the millage rate to 4.5, that extra revenue that was generated helped us close the 2.3-ish million dollar deficit.
So I think the confusion is this is ad valorem taxes is what we allocated the $1 million for. Now this surtax is a separate fund.
Yeah.
So I think, I understand my fellow councilman here, that the citizen question would be is if we only spent $38,000 of that $1 million, where's that other $1 million sitting in? Is it sitting in a reserve account?
And again, please don't misinterpret what that $1 million said. There's not $1 million sitting in the surtax pot for the purpose of the sports complex. What that $1 million represents is an approved appropriation. Again, however, assume for a minute that $2 million came into the surtax. Actual, no kidding, dollars came into the piggy bank, the surtax piggy bank, and we only spent $500,000. There would be at the end of this fiscal year $1.5 million unused of actual dollars in the piggy bank. Even if the appropriation, the surtax appropriation was $3 million, there's not an extra $1.5 million. It's just whatever came in.
So, again, ad valorem taxes should not have been, we plan on spending this out of surtax, right?
Yes, sir. I understand where you're coming from. We had this.
But we approved that $1 million last year through the ad valorem tax.
We did.
By our millage rate.
So I guess what I'm hearing is if I want to ensure it's funded, I don't let it go into surtax?
Yeah, I'm sorry, one more time.
So can we move the parks, preliminary design, and sports complex out of surtax and put it into general fund?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Instead of, because that way I can track the line items, make sure it's spent there. The fact that the $1 million, that it shows up in the surtax is, I guess, what's bothering me here.
Okay,
That it showed up that this was the plan, but we didn't ever execute on that plan. You asked for a, predicted for, what are we gonna spend, up to this, up to, we're gonna spend this, okay, but you put it into surtax.
yes, sir.
But that money that we had planned on deriving it from was not surtax money.
It didn't end up being surtax for sure.
Well, describe again, where does surtax money come from?
Sales tax.
Okay, so this was millage money. This was ad valorem money.
And sir, if that is your desire, I can move that 38 and change over into the general
I
fund.
don't think it's a desire, it's just, I understand where it's coming from.
I do as well.
It's bookkeeping here.
I'm sorry?
It's bookkeeping and making sure that it is very clear to anyone wondering. Because all the rest of the stuff you're saying, hey, is coming out of this surtax. So when you show $1 million of surtax capital outlay in the surtax budget, that means I didn't have to give you any extra ad valorem money last year. To write this in there, it means no extra ad valorem money was needed.
I understand where you're coming from, sir.
So that's the real question.
So I think in this particular case, so that we can move on, the bottom line is he's asking you to move that figure out of
No,
surtax.
I don't think that's what he's saying at all. The conclusion I'm drawing is sir, you feel like you were duped on that millage rate.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again,
That's how I explained it to all of my neighbors.
Right.
And promised them that's what they were getting.
and assuming November 3rd doesn't happen, we will move that project along. I've already made that commitment. I fully understand that is this community's number one, at least a segment of this community's number one desire. I hear you loud and clear. And again, assuming November 3rd does not happen, my commitment to the council is on November 4th, I will sign the contract. I have the contract in my email and have had for months. And again, my commitment to you is on that date, I will sign that contract for $135. Now, I've got my marching orders, I know that.
So do you have any request of action?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on.
I'll make one last comment on that. I do agree, though, that it is showing up in two different pots of money, and it definitely needs to reflect in either the ad valorem, if that's how we're doing it, funding it, or it's a surtax funding.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be in both books.
Well, again, it's not, but I understand your broader point. But just to be clear, it is not in both pots of money. But again, I know that isn't your point. But council, the other piece I would offer to you, again, if we stay the course, we are not going to be taking any money out of the water and sewer budget this year. And I'm sorry, in fiscal year 27. In fiscal year 26, the approved was 2.3 and change, and it will be far less than that. We can balance the budget and do this project at the same time if we stay the course. I apologize if you feel like you've been duped. I fully understand why you feel that way. But again, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And we can keep the budget balanced and do the project at the same time. And do it with the lowest budget in 5 years, and do it without raising the millage rate, and do it without making any transfers, and do it without reducing any services or eliminating any services. We can do it all if you stay with me.
Okay.
If you want me to change course, I will change course.
I'm not asking for that.
Okay. All right.
Let's move along.
Finally, Community Development Fund. As the council, as you recall, several months back, we made the Community Development Department a special revenue fund, pulled it out of the general fund entirely and made it a special revenue fund. We are able to do this under Florida statute that says we are able to do this, and we charge fees for enforcement of the Florida Building Code. Now, we can't charge excess fees and build up a big war chest of reserves in the Community Development Department by Florida law. And we can only charge for certain things, and we can only use the money for certain things. And I have that depicted on the slide. I'm not going to read the slide to you. But again, this is a special revenue fund. We can't use this for Jonathan's gas and paying the electric bill in the utility billing office. But we can use the fees derived from the Community Development Department to pay for the Community Development Department, the personnel, the utilities, the IT equipment, the vehicles, the gas, on and on and on. And so the and again, the thing I would want to emphasize about this slide right here, this is not property tax. These are all fees derived from builders, developers, contractors to do their work. And so the proposed budget for this year, both revenue and expenses, is $348,700, with the bulk of that going for the 4 personnel that work in that department.
Are there any questions by the council? Go ahead, Mr. Filbert.
Are we allowed to start, I saw the average of the previous 4 years of putting money toward like a facility for the community? I mean, I would love to see
Yes.
Chris's office
Yes.
combined with the building office
Yeah.
outside of the police department, turn that over to the police department.
Yes.
And so, was there a line item in here for that?
I don't believe so. This is the first year we're doing it, so.
Right, I
But to answer the short answer to the question, sir, is under Florida law, yes, we can do that. Or conversely, if we were to build a new city complex and all departments were in one building, that money could pay for that piece of the building.
You get that after the sports complex. He deserves an office. So, you know, that's why I was under the impression that we were gonna start budgeting for that out of.
Well, I guess
Because his fee structure, we have still yet, we just approved last meeting, the last board council meeting.
Yes, sir.
His fee structure.
Sure.
I think it was gonna apply.
And again, sir, if the revenues exceed the expenses this year, then we've got a little bit of a seed money, right?
Right,
And we can start building towards that,
okay,
for a new building.
perfect.
I agree, he needs to be with his team, I just don't have any place to put him.
Understandable, yeah. And, so that leads into an area that's closely tied, I guess, with which people are asking about is impact fees for development. Would impact fees go through this department or through general fund?
Neither,
If we applied impact, if we,
That'd be Public Works.
it's public works. It's really neither.
well, impact fees can actually go to a lot of things. Impact
Right.
fees.
I don't think impact
fire,
fees,
Fire, police, there's impacts when you build development, there's impacts
Yes,
to
sir.
fire, police, road, sewer,
Yes,
all these things. And from what I understand, we don't have.
we've got impact fees.
Okay, water and sewer impact fee.
And we have a fire department impact fee. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we have existing impact fees. That's something that this team and I have been talking about for many months to reevaluate those impact fees.
That's what I was really getting to ask.
Yeah.
More accurately reflect what.
You know, unfortunately, our to-do list is about 4 miles long. And it is on the to-do list.
Okay, thanks.
But we do have impact fees. Impact fees would not go into the Community Development Department. Again, most of them go to Jonathan. We have a police department, a fire department impact fee that's for fire department
But
expenses.
his office would probably administer the collection of them.
They would be charged onto the building permits, yes.
Yes.
Right. So,
I had a tie there. It was close. There's a stretch. There's a tie.
Water extension and sewer extension money come from an impact fee.
Right.
Are there any other questions by the council? Mr. Stoffer, did you have a question? Don't forget to unmute.
okay, so our next hearing is on August 25th. It's a workshop, 6 o'clock right here for the enterprise funds. And then our ordinance readings on September 10th and 24th. Council and Mayor Barn, any questions? That's all I have for you.
Hey, first of all, is Mr. Stoffer have a question? Is that what he's trying to ask? All right. Would anybody in the audience like to come before the council to discuss anything that we've talked about this evening? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Robert Lindros, 304 St. Andrews Drive, Niceville. Back on the previous one with your half-cent sales tax.
This one, or which one are you?
Surtax.
Both this one and the one before, there's absolutely nothing on here about stormwater drainage. That was what this whole half-cent sales tax was advertised as. A couple weeks ago, we had the heavy rain. In front of the high school, the water was this deep. South Palm was flooded at least 2 to 3 inches. All over the whole county, it's just horrible stormwater drainage. Out in front of Publix, it gets bad. And I just haven't seen a whole lot of stormwater drainage going on. Thank you.
Jonathan, do you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that when we.
Go ahead and come to the mic if you would.
I was gonna say, when we got the surtax money we did for roads and public safety, Okaloosa County is the one that did for utilities and stormwater.
I've seen expenditures and all.
And so there's on the county list that they just approved on Tuesday, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stormwater projects countywide, one of which is here. And we have a stormwater project we're going to start that will address the stormwater at the high school and on John Sims. It's on the south side of John Sims.
Down by Publix also?
No, sir, we're doing the stormwater right there across the street from the high school. And that's going to start in the very near future.
Would anybody else like to come before the council on anything we've discussed tonight? Council, one last thing. Anybody have any questions or comments? Then, since I see nobody wanting to come forward and we have nothing else, then we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting at this time.
Thank you.
Safe travels.